Right, hi there. This is just one way to present the information in the topic. For today's assignment. Now, what I've got here is one sheet of A4. So, first thing you can do is you can fold the sheet in half. And when you've folded the sheet in half, it will look something like this. So here is my sheet. It's been folded in half here. So the next step is when we unfold it is to cut a line along this crease line that we have made. Once you've done that, it should look like this. Now you can see that I've got two sheets of paper, two distinct separate sheets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join them right in the middle. I'm going to find the best join that I can and put them together. That one is a little bit thin at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that around. That looks like a much better join to me. And they look quite equal there. There they are. I'm going to put them together. And then put one piece of tape just here along the side. So what I've got now is an automatic fold. Okay. And I can fold my sheet. So next thing I want to do is to create a concertina effect. So I want to fold and fold again. So I'll show you how to do that. So in order to make that concertina effect, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one half of the paper I had and I'm going to fold that in half. So it goes over into the middle. And then I've got one half here. I'm going to fold that over into the middle. So I've restricted the size down, but I have got this kind of open book effect. Okay. Now, if you want, you could do your project like this, like a little mini open book. So you could have a front cover here that opens out, and then you have information inside. Okay, that's one option. If you wanted to do something a little bit different, what you could do is this. Now, what you could do is then fold again if you wanted to. So you have another fold. Now we've made it much smaller. What we have created then is another much smaller book, and as a consequence you can get more information in, but perhaps there'd be less writing or more opportunities for artwork. So we have here a front cover, and when we opened it up we would have 4 sections there, which could have 4 pieces of information or 2 drawings or 4 drawings. And then if you wanted to open it out even further, then you've got even more information, more opportunities to draw, put in maps there. If you didn't want to do that, then you could keep it to the first example that I showed, which is like the first booklet that gives you the opportunity for a front cover, and then you can open it out to those sections there. So you've got choices, all right, on how to do this. So how would you start the book and the designs from here? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, since I've folded it all up, this much smaller version, and it's also easier to show on camera for me. So the first thing I might do is design the front cover. So here I've got my front cover. As you can see, when you open it up, the front cover splits, leaving me lots of space inside. If I want to put it out, I can rest it up and it can be freestanding. And if I want to close it, then it forms my picture. And what I've done is simply put in front cover and then done a little circular wall drawing here, and then spaced my lettering around it to fill up the whole of the front cover. So it is really bright and really stands out, rather than perhaps popping it in one corner and then leaving it blank. Okay, so what could we do on the inside of our front cover, inside of our book? So here I've decided to draw a map of the area. You can see that I have put a title. Obviously it's just a map at the moment, but I'm sure you'll be able to put a much better title in there. I have drawn the coastline in thick black line, and then the sea I've represented either in blue with a kind of outline of darker blue following the coastline, give the impression of waves and movement, or here I've just left it in pencil and just given the impression, like many old maps, of just the sea there. After that, I would be able to draw in some of the rivers that I've spoken about, and they would come down and around And you can see I'm putting them in, and that's roughly where they would go. And then I'd be able to highlight the river names and add them in. On the other side, I've got a section for facts. So it might be that I am able to talk about locations. It might be I'm able to give distances. It might be able to give additional facts that you can't quite fit on the map. So it might be you've drawn lots of labels and you think, oh, but I need to know what that C would be, what that C would be, but I can't fit it all in. So you've got the option of putting it on that other side there. So how would we then, what could we then do in the middle of the book? Well, you can see, because I've drawn it in thick ink, it's come through on the paper. So when you do that, make sure you're doing it with pencil, okay? So how would it look like if you're doing the middle of the book? So your middle of the book should look something like this if you've used pencils and pens. Just be mindful of that error with felt tips. They would also have the same impact. So just be careful if you're drawing something on one side, the likelihood is it will come through to the other side. So just be careful with how you're presenting that work. So what can we do here in the middle? We've got a huge area here, and there are wonderful opportunities to make much bigger scenes. You could fill each individual box with a different fact that you've learnt and write that fact up in a different section. You could use it as an opportunity to complete more drawings from some of the things that you saw on the other video. So in there, it's up to you what you put in that section according to what you've discovered, what you've researched, what you've seen on the videos. But you can make it as big as you want. So you could recreate one of those scenes that I showed you, do your own interpretation of that. You might want to draw or attempt to draw an outline of what people think Baghdad looked like. You may wish to write down all the reasons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potentially. Why Baghdad was so successful. And we've gone through lots and lots of different reasons there. So in the end, you should end up with a little booklet that would be able to be freestanding, that would be full of bright colors. Each time you turn something, you would find something new and interesting about this ancient city. Right, good luck.